Our next speaker is a local citizen. David Morganelli is an attorney and a certified public accountant. He's a current member of Milford's Finance Committee. David has lived in Milford his entire life and is very involved in our community, volunteering his time for youth programs and more recently being the driving force behind our new farmers market. David is here to give you an unbiased professional opinion about the casino effect on our property taxes.
First of all, anybody here? As I like to start every meeting, I always say hi to my mother. Hi, Mom. I've seen my good friend Warren Heller, attorney for Foxwood, sitting over here. He's taking copious notes, and Warren, I think you could just buy Robert's book and probably get a lot of the data. But that was very good, Robert, and he made some excellent points. I am a member of the Finance Committee. I have to say that I'm not here in any representative capacity for the town on behalf of the Finance Committee. I am here, as Lou Salazzi used to call me, concerned citizen David Morganelli, and I'm also a town meeting member. What I can tell you, and I can give you my own personal opinion on the some of the finances and some of the things that have been reported in the paper. And I can kind of give you my opinion from the standpoint of having sat in the meetings where we've discussed some of these things and some of the promises that are in the host community agreement as negotiated. First, let me just tell you that our finances as they are and as they're reported constantly, continually, and accurately, our finances are in excellent shape. We currently have, the way we budget on the Finance Committee, we make recommendations to town meeting. We allocate a certain percentage of our annual budget to pay for debt. And when I say debt, I'm referring to the long-term debt schedule. We have a very elaborate spreadsheet, and with the assistance of a town accountant and our financial analyst, we put together all the data for our debt. We currently have a long-term debt, the payments, principal and interest, for this fiscal year will be about $2.8 million. Okay, if we don't add anything else to the debt over the next 10 years and over the next 20 years, all of that is scheduled to be reduced. And it is expected to go down to 1.6 million in about 10 years. Why is that significant? That is significant because I can tell you as a Finance Committee member and a staunch supporter of a certain contingent of the Finance Committee that we will never have a Proposition 2.5 override in this town. We continue to pay all our debts as they come due, and without the casino, we will in fact be able to pay for Milford Pond, pay for the new Woodland School, pave our roads, and any other capital project you can think of. We consider all those things, and we look at all the things that are coming down the pike on our long-term debt schedule. So without it, we absolutely will do fine, and I guarantee you, well, I don't guarantee you, I promise you we will work our hardest to make sure that we never have a Proposition 2.5 override. Now let me just address briefly the 25 million to 30 million to 32 million to 35 million number that keeps being thrown around that we're going to get every year from the casino. First of all, there is nowhere in the community, the host community agreement, where you will see the words, Milford is guaranteed absolutely and without condition to get a payment of $25 million or $30 million every year. It's a promise that is in fact unsecured, that as soon as Robert alluded to, as soon as the finances of a casino go south and they have to restructure, and certain unsecured creditors have to take a back seat, I guarantee you, and I can use the word guarantee in a very certain way there, not in the virtual way, that Milford will in fact take a back seat to some of the other creditors. We are not guaranteed that money. If somebody can please come up here on behalf of the casino and say we are guaranteed to get a certain percentage of money, I throw the gauntlet down on that because it's just simply not guaranteed money. One important point I want to make with respect to property taxes. Okay, everybody's saying, what happens to our property taxes? We need property tax relief. We had somebody at the last town meeting get up and say, the citizens of the town of Milford absolutely need property tax relief. That is true. Property tax relief is a nice thing to have. If the $25 million payment that we are scheduled to get each year were given to us, and again, it's not promised, if we put every single dollar of that on the tax rate, and right now we have a split tax rate, if we were to put every single dollar on that, the average property tax bill, which is roughly $4,300, and that's the number that we get from the town, the average property tax bill would go down about $1,800. That's true, if we put every single dollar of that money on it. I can tell you my opinion. This is not based on anything other than, it is my opinion. It's based on what I know about the town and its finances. We're lucky to see 25% of that get applied to the tax rate. We're lucky. 25% of that would be about $450. Okay? Are you willing to bring the casino into the town for a lousy $50? I'll even round it up. Round it up to $50 a month relief on your property tax bill. It's just not worth it. It's not worth sacrificing our way of life, the hit on our water supply, the additional crime, the traffic. I'm so frustrated I can barely get, as Robert said, from one end of town to the other right now. I just can't imagine that even 10 cars a day would be any help to the traffic conditions we have right now. So my own personal opinion is that the property tax relief will not be significant. Yes, why is that? Yes, we will use that money. It will go towards other things. But let me tell you that when people like, and this is not a knock on unions, I think they serve a very important function, but when collective bargaining agreement time comes around, when contracts have to be renewed, when capital projects that we put off today until tomorrow come up for discussion, when a pot of money is identified, I guarantee you that there will be draws on that, okay? And the draws on that will go to other things. It will not be for property tax relief. I can tell you that we've been very diligent in this town in financial planning. You probably read in the papers about the stabilization fund that we've created. We have a stabilization fund in this town that is second to almost no community. It has a roughly $12 million balance. And why do we have that? Because we plan on never having a casino. We are planning for the future. The Woodland School that will be expected to cost $60 million. If Milford's payment of that is $25 to $30 million, through no Proposition 2.5 override, just drawing from the tax levy and our stabilization fund, we will pay all our debts as they come due. So let me just say that, and I know I've gone way on my scheduled time. The host community agreement, which is a very lengthy agreement, and I could stand up here and talk to you for hours, and I invite you to ask questions about it, has many flawed, in my opinion, provisions within it. And just a couple of big ones that I'll identify. One is that the $2.5 million fund that was set aside for residential property tax mitigation, and I'm sure you've discussed this, and I apologize for not having been to the previous sessions, a very, very important element of that provision is that you cannot draw a penny on it unless you sell your house. Well, there are plenty of people that want to draw down with a home equity loan, and they want the equity to pay for education or for home improvements or for, and the like. If the bank says to you, unfortunately, your property has been significantly devalued, we cannot give you a home equity loan, you cannot draw on that fund. You will have to sell your house, you'll have to leave town, and furthermore, as my father used to say, moreover, the $2.5 million fund is not going to go very far. I mean, if your average property tax property tax valuation hit is $50,000 or $100,000, it doesn't really take a lot of people to get in line before $2.5 million evaporates. That is really, really a low, low, low number. So, the final point that I will make, and I can make a lot more, but I'm cutting myself a little bit short here, is this is very significant in my opinion, and this is why I'm saving it for last. Having a casino, right now our total budget is an $83 million budget. the casino would be roughly 25 to $30 million of additional taxes. So we're increasing roughly by a third our tax levy, and by doing so, we are getting it from a single taxpayer. And if your mother ever told you don't ever put all of your eggs in one basket, there is the example right there why you should not do that. There is not, to my knowledge, any kind of research or poll or any other investigative work that has been done to guarantee us that all of the other wonderful corporate citizens in this town that have chosen Milford to have corporate headquarters or to have a significant branch of a corporate headquarters will not then leave. There is a corporate culture in this country where we like to keep our citizens satisfied, and we want them to be happy with our jobs. If the quality of life absolutely goes south and it tanks, there are plenty of corporate citizens, and I've spoken to some of the executives that are in this town, and I invite others to do the same. There is no guarantee that other corporate citizens will not pack up and go to another town that's willing to give them a TIF, a property tax relief, an incentive, and a brand new industrial park. And what happens if that happens? What that happens is we've created a greater reliance on a single taxpayer, and now, instead of it being additive, it has a mitigating effect to our overall finances. And the problem with that is we don't plan for it, and I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but the people out in the community that say it will be purely additive, they're thinking 2 years down the road or 3 years down the road. And if anybody is lucky enough to live the next 10 or 15 years, if you want to see what the quality of life and the finances will do, I guarantee you that it's not going to be as good as it is today. So those are my thoughts, and thank you. And I think I went about 10 minutes too long.